Hello, my name's John. This is a Space Wolves Wolf Priest, and you're watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. It's been a little while since I've posted anything. 2025 ended up being quite a busy year, so hobby took a sideline, but now it's the beginning of 2026, it's time to start again, and I thought I'd start out by putting together this Space Wolf Wolf Priest straight from the box and have a look at it at the same time. I know this model's been out for a little while, but some people might not have seen it yet, and that's what this video's for, to let you see what's in it, how easy it is to put together, and so on. So, looking at the box first, we can see we've got a nice image of the Wolf Priest on that side, and then on the back we have the alternative heads and so on. So let's crack it open and have a look inside. So we've got the base, the sprue, and the instructions. Nice and simple 7-step instructions for this guy, so we'll work through that. We'll have a look at the sprue first though to see what options we've got on here. We can see there is the nice wolf skull head, and then we have a bear head just there, bald with a big beard, and then there's one there with a bionic eye. It's a really nice kit, this one. I'm kind of having a look to see what spare parts we've got on this, because I've got a few ideas of what I'd like to do in a later project, depending on what I get from this. But anyway, let's get started and work our way through. So, this video is a real-time video. The only time I will do any cuts or edits is if I have to let the dog out, or my phone rings, or someone's at the door, or anything like that. Other than that, what you see is what you get. It's really quite a nice little model, this one. Now, my tools of choice for this video, I have some clippers, I have my scalpel, and I have some Tamiya glue. I'm going to do my best to take some of the mould lines off this while I work, but I'm not going to worry too much if there's any on there when I've finished. Before I get round to priming and painting, that's something that I can sort out then. But entirely up to you when you do that. You might want to do it early on at the beginning, but to be honest, I'm a little bit impatient, and if you can't see it, it doesn't really matter. Right, so that's going to be the main body. What I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit so we can see these go together. So this is the first step of going together. There is a little gap there, so I'm hoping the leg will fit in nicely. But let's just put some glue on this. Now, I really do like the Tamiya thin glue, as you don't necessarily have to run it on the edges and then stick it together. You can wait up until a point like this and gently dab it on edges, and capillary action does the rest. It's quite a nice glue to use. You've got to be really careful though if you get it on your fingers and you end up destroying a bit of the detail and so on, so always keep an eye on how much you're using. So that is the first part of the body. The next step is one of the legs, so I am looking for parts 6 and 7, so there is 6. And then 7 is that one just there. Now, I've decided to do a little revamp on the channel. If you're new to the videos, you're not going to notice anything different. If you've watched my videos in the past, you may see a few different style choices with bits and pieces, but other than that, everything else is pretty much the same as we go for an adventure through my hobbies. Now, most of the time you're going to notice it's going to be Games Workshop related, Warhammer related, but that's not the only things that I do. I do enjoy quite a few hobbies, and at some point we will have a look at various ones of those. Okay, so that is going to sit neatly in there like that. Okay, now if you're new to the channel, welcome, and just talk about this style of video that I do. I like real-time videos as it allows you to see exactly how long it takes to make a model, that kind of thing. Don't always do it. If it's a long video, I will trim down bits down or speed it up, but with this one, as it is a single model build and my first video in a while, I thought let's just go for the real time. If you want to skip certain bits, there is timestamps down in the description to jump to different parts of the video. Depending on the type of video, there'll be different lengths of kind of timestamps and time frames. With this one, it's just going to be nice and simple. What you'll also notice if you are a subscriber to the channel, the day of my video releases has changed. I am now releasing a video every Friday at 5, and anything else is going to be a bonus video. I did in 2025 release quite a few videos, tried to do 2 a week, and it just got a little bit too much to be an enjoyable process, and that's not what I do this for. This is meant to be an enjoyable process for me and for you guys to watch. And I also like doing videos on request, so if you have a video that you'd like to see, whether it's a how-to for converting, painting or modelling, please drop it in the comments. I'm happy to see what I can do. And I will say as well, apologies if you can hear any road noise in the background, as it's a busy time of the day, lots of cars going by, so I can't always cut that out. Okay, so there's the body and the legs. And arm wise, we have number 11 with the Crozius Arcanium with the wolf skull on. So let me carefully trim this off. And then it gives a choice of the, I think it's the Absolver bolt pistol, which is that one just there, or that dagger. Now, I want to go with the Absolver bolt pistol for this one, and later on down the line I might do a model with that dagger. So let's just try and get some of these mould lines off. Okay. Now the thing I'm interested about with this kit is what other pieces are left over at the end of it. I really do like the new Space Wolf range, and I do like the idea of doing a few conversions. At the same time, I need to get part 10, which is that wolf necklace. Try and snip it close to the detail so I don't have to tidy it up too much. But right, let's have a look. Now, I'm not doing any conversion or anything like that on this model, so however, first drop of the video. So however these bits are meant to sit is the way that I'm going to do them. So that is going to be like that. If I was to have another wolf priest, that's when I'd think about doing some conversions. Okay, that's that arm. Right, that arm's going to be nice and easy to put on, so what I am going to do is put the wolf necklace in place and try and do this really carefully so I don't get glue all over the place. There we go. Okay. Now ideally, while making a model like this, as it just happened, I'd want to wait a little bit of time for bits to dry, the glue to stop doing what it's meant to do and just evaporate, and the solvent work to melt that plastic. But as you can see just then, I rushed it a little bit and the necklace moved. But for now, that's just going to sit back down, and I'm now looking for part 14, which is that part of this guy's cape, cloak, whatever you want to call it. It's got a nice big fur collar on it. Let's tidy up some of those edges. Now with this model, I shouldn't have to fill any gaps or anything like that, but if I do, I might do that in another video and show you how I fill plastic models with either sprue glue or green stuff. If that's something you'd like to see, please drop it in the comments. Okay, that goes on quite nicely there. So I'm going to put a dab of glue just on that part, hold that in place, and then on the back I'm just going to dab some glue there and there. Okay, and now the next part that I'm looking for is part 15, which is the other half of the cape. I have to say, this is nice. I've missed this. I'm not going to go into the reasons why I haven't been producing any videos recently. It's not the place for it, but I'm very happy to be hobbying again. This is the first sit down doing some hobby for a long time, and I'm hoping 2026 is going to be a good year. I'm sure there's going to be events that tax me, but not as much as this year. So I'm just going to use my scalpel to hold that in place, and then just dab a little bit of glue in any of these connection points at the back. I do quite like it. This kind of, the cape is almost like a trench coat style look. It's works quite nicely. So now I need parts 16 and 17. So there is 17 and there is 16, and they are the shoulder pads and what looks like the edge of the fur collar of the cape, the jacket. Got to think about which head I want to use. I'm looking at it, I've got an idea for a conversion that I'd like to do with one of them. So that might not be one that I use for this. That's okay, we'll have a look and see which one looks best. Okay. So looking at this, wolf tail goes at the back and this runic detail goes at the front. That goes on really quite nicely there. Let's put a bit of glue on there along that edge. Nice, there we go. What we'll do is a little dab of glue just there. And now a little bit of glue on this side. I'm sorry if I went off camera there. I was getting a little bit too involved, enjoying the making process. This is going to need to sit down for a little while to let that glue do its thing. Okay, so that's part 6 done. I'm now on to part 7. So that is backpack and one of the heads. So let's trim off the backpack. There is quite a few mould lines on this, so let me have a look at it and see if I need to do anything right now or if I can leave it for later on. Just move away. Okay, a little bit of scrapage there. A little bit there. There's quite a bit on the back banner. But to be honest, a bit impatient for that right now, so I'll come back to that. Okay, let's just dab a little bit of glue there and put that on the back. And let's have a look at these head options. So we have this option with the bald head and the beard, the bionic eye, and then the wolf skull. Now the wolf skull, I want to use that for a conversion later on. I am going to go with bald head and beard. So I'm going to need part 2 and 3 for this. So let's clip off part 3 and part 2 and tidy that up. Whoop, and that bit goes flying. So it is saying glue it before it goes in place, so a little bit of glue there and slip that head on. Perfect. A little bit of glue in there. And I am racing this, to be honest. I'm just excited to be doing some hobby again. Brilliant, that's on there. Let's now put some glue, an ample bit on the base to stick it down. And I was just quickly grabbing my phone there because I need to do a thumbnail. And as this is a real-time video, that's part of this process. I don't want to hide anything that I do when doing these ones. So let's make sure that's just held in place. And let's just get my camera up on my phone. Okay. Take a little shot there. Actually, let's put a little bit of detail in the background. Think about your thumbnails. There we go. So there's my thumbnail. I'll add that to the graphics. But for now, yep, that's it. First video in a while, really happy to be back. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is my Space Wolf Priest. Spare parts, 2 different heads and a little dagger. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies.